Howdy y'all, TheJTJ here, RollToWound.com. We're continuing our Soulblight Gravelords Warscroll review series today. We're going to be focused on the named characters out of Cursed City, the Gravekeeper, the Chamberlain, and the Watch Captain. So, stick around. Alright, we're going to be checking out a couple Warscrolls today. We're going to be specifically looking at Gorslav the Gravekeeper, Torgillius the Chamberlain, and Watch Captain Halgrim. These were the named characters from the Cursed City box set, not named Radikar. So we're going to break these guys down. If you're interested in seeing other Warscroll reviews for Radikar or the other units out of Cursed Cities, they will also be videos for them. Just check out the playlist. All right, so we're going to start off with Gorslav the Gatekeeper. He has a 4-inch move, 7 wounds, a 6-up save, and 10 bravery. He's got a spade, 2-inch range, 3 attacks, 4s and 3s with a -1 Ren and D3 damage. He's a named character and he is armed with a Graveskeeper spade. Alright, so he's got a couple of abilities here. Keeper of the Corpse Garden. Roll a dice before you allocate a wound or mortal wound to this model. Roll a dice before you allocate a wound or mortal wound to this model. If it is within 3 inches of any friendly Deadwalker's unit and on 4 up, that mortal wound is allocated to one of those units instead of this model. So he's shrugging wounds on a 4 up. So you're looking at his 6-up save and saying this guy's going to die real quick. He's got a shrug on a 4, so that's got to go through his 6-up save, go his 6-up death save, then you can shrug it off. He has a command ability, Arise, Arise. Use this command ability at the end of your movement phase. If you do so, pick one friendly summonable Deadwalker's unit that has been destroyed. A new replacement unit with half the models from the unit that was destroyed, rounding up, is added to your armies. Set it up 9 of a friendly model of him and 9 away from enemy. Each destroyed unit can only be replaced once. Replacement units cannot themselves be replaced. So this is one of the best command abilities for you zombie guys out there. If you're running a lot of zombie Deadwalker zombies or dire wolves, it's almost like you just want to take him because you can feed those into the furnace and just churn them back out. The bad thing is they can only be replaced one time, so keep that in mind. And if you're playing against Soulblight Gravelords, make sure that you understand that as well. Hey, I destroyed that unit. You brought back half of them. I've destroyed them again. That unit can no longer be brought back in any form, so make sure they stay to the side. Keywords: Death, Soulblight Gravelords, Vyrkos Dynasty, Deadwalker Hero, and Gorslav the Gravekeeper. Let's go check out my thoughts on it. He's a 75 point unit. That's a great cost. His max wound output is 9, and of course that's raw, and that can be buffed in different ways. But you're not bringing him for fighting. But all in all, and 9 wounds coming from this guy is not horrible. What I like, Deadwalker's keyword, shrugs to Deadwalkers on a 4 up, resurrects zombie units with a CP. 7 wounds and passing them off on 4 will keep him alive for a bit. Arise is a very good command ability, works with zombies and dire wolves. This guy loves multiple units of dire wolves, meaning that I feel that dire wolves, he's going to bring back dire wolves quick. It's going to be hard for someone to chew through 20 or 40 zombies, but your dire wolves tend to drop a little bit quicker, and he's going to be able to bring them back. And they're faster, so if you keep him back, they're going to be able to actually run or move to where they need to be. Dislike: if you're not running Deadwalkers, don't bring him. I just think if you're building a Blood Knight, Blood Knight list with no Deadwalkers in it, I don't think you should bring him. But why would you be doing that anyway? I think bringing several small 10 model units of dire wolves and just charging them in early to die is not a bad use. He will bring a unit of 5 back a turn. Killing a 40 block of zombies will take a turn or 2, so having some options every turn to bring something back is good to really get his points back, and he will the first time, pretty much the first time that he resurrects a unit, he'll pay for himself. Maybe having some smaller units like a 10 model unit of dire wolves to charge in first, die early, so you can bring them back soon. Or keep that in mind. You want options with him. So if there's dead units out there, that means hopefully they're tying up things, they're killing things, attacks are going into those units. Then those units are going to come back. Keep him far back if you're running lots of wolves. If he's moving up with the main body, keep him hidden behind a wall of zombies for his shrug. So I'm not saying he needs to stay at the back of the board. He can advance with your forces. Just make sure he stays close enough to continue to get those shrugs. However, you do need to stay far enough back from the front lines that when he is able to resurrect a unit, a destroyed unit, that he can bring those up close enough to be effective, but not so close that they'll have to get pushed back because he's too close to the front. He's in that 9-inch bubble. One good thing you need to keep in mind, everything that affects Deadwalkers helps him. Corpse Cart, Bloodline abilities, things like that. If you're playing with a lot of Deadwalkers, 100% grade A, bring this guy. If you're taking 2 to 4 units of Deadwalkers, I say you add in the Gravekeeper just because he can bring them back. He's also a hero. He can sit on a back objective. He can claim things that heroes will claim. He can go out with a pack of wolves or zombies and sit on that point on certain missions as a hero to claim certain things. If he dies, does it totally make your army fall apart? No. He's 75 points. So they might not even target him because he's not going to be in combat. He's not going to be doing a lot of things. But once your opponent understands, oh, he brings back whole units or half units, I'm going to target him with shooting or spells. They will target him once your opponent starts knowing, oh, this guy can actually, he's your auto res now as opposed to rolling the 5 up. All right, moving on to Torgillius the Chamberlain. He's a 5-inch move, 6 wounds, 6 up save, and the standard 10 bravery. He has a melee weapon, or he's got rats. 1-inch range, 4 attacks, 5s, 4s, no rend, 1 damage. He is a named character and is a single model. Torgillius the Chamberlain is accompanied by his vermin, who attack with their claws and fangs. For rules purposes, his vermin are treated the same manner as a mount. So keep in mind that if there's something that would affect only the bear's weapons, not the mounts, his attacks won't get any buffs from that. Abilities: Trusted Lieutenant. At the start of your hero phase, if this model is within 3 inches of a friendly Radakar the Wolf, roll a dice. On a 4+, you receive a 1 extra command point. Super huge in this edition. That's 50-50 chance to get an extra command point. If you're taking Radakar, maybe look to take the Chamberlain. He also has a Graved Sand something. Tell me how to pronounce that in the chat. Phylactery. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to this model. On a 4-up, this wound or mortal wound is negated. On a 1, that wound or mortal wound is not negated, and its ability cannot be used for the rest of the battle. So this is sort of his extra shrug. It's on a 4-up. He's shrugging wounds, which he needs because he only has a 6-up save and 6 wounds. He doesn't have the hunger. He doesn't have a -1 to hit or anything like that. So you're depending on this to actually keep him alive. But my luck is somebody shoots 1, arcane bolt at him. I roll my 4-up. I roll a 1 the very first round of the battle, and it's like he's lost it. So you can't depend on that. But it is a cool little ability with a little randomness to it. All right, he is a wizard and can cast an Unbind 1. He has a signature spell, Necrotizing Bolt. Necrotizing Bolt has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick 1 enemy unit within 18 of the caster that is visible to them. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. In addition, subtract 1 from the hit rolls for attacks made by that unit until the end of the next phase. Pretty nice spell. Keywords: Death, Necromancer, Death Mage, Hero, Wizard, and Torgillius the Chamberlain. All right, he is 115 points, 10 points less than a Necromancer. So you're getting a 1-cast Wizard. Think about that. Max wound output is 4. I like extra CP with Radakar. Grave Sand is not bad when it works, and his spell is pretty good. Dislike: average all around with a few okay tricks. my thoughts are, if you bring Radikar the Wolf, he could be worth bringing for the CP regeneration. His spell is not bad. It does damage and debuffs. I think you could run him without Radikar just for his spell if you're very focused on spamming Nevic 1 to hit. Average all around, but worth a look if you're running Radikar. And I think where you're really going to see the Chamberlain shine is with Radikar, because you want to get that extra CP. If you're taking him just in a vacuum, I'm kind of would almost rather take a Necromancer, because Dance Macabre is just a better spell. But Necrotizing Bolt is not a bad spell. I mean, all in all, it does damage and it debuffs, so it's a pretty good combo spell there. However, it's like when I'm just thinking about would I rather have a Necromancer or him, it's a pretty good toss up. I give him a B plus because he does have some tricks. His spell is pretty much what's bumping him up to the B plus range. And if you're taking Radikar, the extra command points are super good. So I think a nice little themed list, if you're running the Cursed Cities themed list, he'll fit right in. He does what he's supposed to. But if not, you might have better options for that caster in a Necromancer. All right, let's look at Watch Captain Halgrim. A 4-inch move, 5 wounds, 4 up save, and 10 bravery. He has a cursed halberd, 2-inch range, 3 attacks, 4s, 3s, -1, and D3 damage. He's a named character and a single model. His ability, he has a cursed halberd. If the unmodified hit rolls for attacks made with a cursed halberd is 6, that attack inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target, addition to any normal damage. So you're gonna have extra 6s pile up, which is not bad. You can use this command ability at the start of your movement phase. If you do so, pick up to 3 friendly death rattle units wholly within 18 of this model until the end of that phase. If you declare that any of those units will run, do not make a run roll for them. Instead, add 4 to the move characteristics for those units until the end of the phase. So you're losing 2 inches off of your normal CP run, except you're now affecting multiple units, which is good because you couldn't do that normally in third edition. You couldn't affect more than one with a run. So it is a way to work around that. It's not bad, but it's only 4 inches. I don't know. Keyword: Death, Soulblight Gravelords, Vyrkos, Death Rattle, Hero, and Watch Captain Halgrim. All right, he is 80-point hero. It's pretty cheap. He has a max wound output of 9 plus the 3 mortal wounds. I like the death rattle keyword. There's a lot of things in the book that spike off the death rattle keyword, so good. Okay command ability, but there are several restrictions, like you got to be within range, you got to have things close. It's a start of movement, so he can't even move up to get in range of things. So the restrictions are there that I'm kind of negative on, but you'll see this a lot with Death Rattle, where they want to give them that. This is a classic type ability where, hey, give your Death Rattle 3 or 4 inches of movement, because they tend to be kind of slow. Good if you're bringing lots of Death Rattle. Cheap hero if you need an extra for a battalion. So if you're bringing Death Rattle, he's not that bad to think about, especially if your points are working out where you need something under 100 points. I might look at him. Also, cheap hero for battalions, something that we don't talk about a lot in this edition, is where you're like, hey, I'm building battalions, maybe my second battalion, because I'm trying to get a lot of extra benefits, or the way I'm trying to do my drops, or whatever you're trying to do. Having a cheap hero to fill out those maybe is worth a look. Dislike: nothing jumps out and says auto take. From a competitive standpoint, I only bring him if I'm running 3+ units of Death Rattle, or I need a cheap hero to fill out a battalion. Keep in mind that he has keyword Death Rattle, so all the abilities work on him, like favored retainers, the bait, etc. Thoughts: from a competitive standpoint, I'll only bring him if I'm running 3+ units of Death Rattle, or I need a cheap hero to fill out a battalion. If you're not bringing a bunch of Death Rattle, he's kind of using, his command ability is sort of focused on that. I mean, if you just need a hero for really cheap that you know, a 4+ save, 3+ with all out defense isn't bad. So maybe you bring him anyway without Death Rattle, especially if you're filling out a battalion or something. Keep in mind that he is keyword Death Rattle, so all those abilities and buffs work on him. You're looking at all the bloodline abilities, and there's a lot of other overlapping things that focus off Death Rattle keyword. They also work on him, and they'll make his damage output spike a little bit more. Favored retainers, the bait, etc. I'm gonna give him a B minus, just because I think the biggest competition you have is a White King. He's still slow. He's got an okay save, but at the end of the day, is his command ability really the only thing that sets him apart from anything else? Is that worth it? Is that worth bringing it? Now, going back, if you just need a cheap hero, maybe he's worth a look. But at the end of the day, I don't know. It's himself on paper and his Warscroll. There's nothing there that makes me go, oh, I've got to include this guy in my army every time. So that does it for this Warscroll review. Check out the next episode when we look at the other units from the Cursed City box set. Thanks for watching, and y'all be good.